Welcome to the Friendly Fire Show.
Episode 129.
For the week of whenever we get this out sooner or closest to the Switch reveal as possible.
For the day Switch was revealed, January 13.
I had to fit that in there. I'm sorry, Shane.
Now, do we have to pull weird poses and pretend like we're super enthusiastic Japanese people introducing
It's an audio
things?
medium. Tano should not be using any Japanese voices. I think we've established that a long time ago.
Actually, can I just ask, I only saw pieces. I was flying at the time. Poor flight choice. Was Karen there?
No
just
Karen.
The whole
Unfortunately.
Karen subreddit must be in tears currently.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
They really switched off Karen.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a movie franchise at some point anyway. It doesn't matter.
Suda51 was there?
Yeah, that was crazy.
But they didn't really introduce him as that. They're like, he's Grasshopper Man. That's his real name.
Manufacture Man.
Careful. Be careful, Tano.
No, it was just like an enthusiastic voice.
They didn't talk much during that. I think the guy doing the translation was not having a good time. Something was going on wrong there.
That translator, a couple times, he just like trolled any English person watching. What game? I can't remember which game it was. I think it was the Mario game. He's like, this is coming out for launch at summer 2017. It's like, no, that's not launch then.
I think, he meant launch window or something. Or it must be something lost
I think
in
he meant
translation.
it launches in summer, but he just did it really
Yeah,
randomly.
because they kept saying launch. I'm like, oh, yeah, good. No,
But you'd
it's
think that they
holiday
would-
2017.
You'd think
Terrible
for something
news.
like that, they would record it beforehand because, like, Japanese...
They didn't, but they...
is a language where, like, they might say launch at the start of the sentence, but they'll actually be saying...
Well,
the launch of this game will be...
I thought maybe they might have had the English script ready as well,
Yeah,
so they could just
I
read
would
it.
have
He wasn't
assumed so as
actually
well.
translating live. How else did
It
they do
seemed
it?
I feel like he was translating live, though,
Sometimes
'cause it was
seemed
really
they were.
like...
After the Suda incident, I am very confident that they were translating live because that guy just like lost his place and was like, for 15 seconds. Here
And I guess probably the more stuff they had scripted and available to people, the likelihood of it being leaked
well, it
would have been.
was
So
all
maybe
leaked,
they
though.
It was all leaked anyway.
It was leaked
Well,
on
a lot of it was.
There was a lot of different leaks and different things coming out. This one was on 4chan. I'm not sure where it was.
It was from some bloke in Europe who was setting up the event.
As soon as
And he's like, oh yeah, I'm on Smoko. Here's everything
Yeah.
I've seen.
As soon as 1-2 Switch came up, I was like, oh man, that ARMS game and Mario subtitle and all these other things. Like I knew what was going to happen. Well, I thought I knew what was going to happen. I was a bit wrong.
We're getting
It's kind of
so very ahead of
Good
ourselves,
news,
though.
bad news. Yeah, definitely.
So, Tatsumi Kimishima, I didn't say that right,
No,
probably.
that's all right. I think you're good.
He opened with, like, cold hard facts, like, straight off the bat. Worldwide launch date for the Switch of 3 March.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, so we're only 6 weeks away, basically.
It's weeks ahead of when we thought it was going to be. Like
I thought it would be,
conservative.
like, late March, but
Yeah.
actually...
Oh,
yeah.
random. Sorry, like, completely breaking, like, literally just got an email from Capcom. Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, is coming as, like, not a virtual console game. It's, like, coming
I
as a
think
re-release.
that was
Yeah.
That
hinted
was-
at in
yeah.
the stream.
Yeah.
So we didn't
but
know
they've
it was
just-
we didn't know
they've
it was
just
a physical,
confirmed
but
it.
yeah, it was...
Yeah. They showed a lot of, like, retro stuff that you weren't sure if it was going to be virtual
But
console.
that's pretty cool. But that goes to show, like, even with, I know I'm kind of like moving off release date here, but with Splatoon and even with Street Fighter 2, that's still got like a massive esports community. They're really pushing for that. You can tell. And Mario Kart and Smash Brothers as well is like growing in esports. So that's
None of
actually
those
not
things
really
were shown.
surprising.
At the end there, kind of was. Let's do
Mario Kart was,
let's do the
but they
console
never
first,
teasing.
and then we'll loop back to games. So we did the release date.
Good
There's
news?
some prices, $299 in the States.
Which is a good price for the States.
No, I don't think it is.
I
at
thought it
all.
was going to be $250, but
Yeah,
I
same.
think $299 is pretty reasonable for new hardware.
I think $299 is a very bad price.
I think $299 is the maximum it could have been.
I think $350.
Yeah, which is bad.
$350 is a bad price unless you're offering something really high end, and then if you're moving past $400, it's got to be really special.
But this is kind of low end compared to what else is out there, and it's at the
Maybe
it's still new hardware,
But it's low end because the processors and things are low end. Like it outputs
but it's the
720.
same price as like a PS4 or an Xbox One with a couple of games. It's like the same price.
Yeah,
That's not good.
no.
That's why I think it's going to be.
If it had some games to launch with, it might be different. Like Zelda's going to be amazing, but
Well, you kind of want for your $2.99 include Zelda. Like that's the.
it's got to have at least a game that's not 1-2 Switch or like
I don't think it
Wii
will.
Sports
It
Resort
probably
Party.
will, it probably will launch in that with the surely.
It definitely will. Like there's
Yeah.
no way it's not going to come with those freeware those crappy games. I don't know. It's not. But like if it's bundled with, like I was thinking a couple of weeks ago, the smart thing to do would be if they released it. I was thinking they released it around $250, so it's a little bit less than the PS4 and the Xbox One, but bundle it with like a Wii U port, like Mario Kart.
I thought they would do
or
Mario Kart.
Mario Maker or something like that. Like if it comes with a game it's kind of is a free game, and it's kind of like it's a port. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
thought
I
they
think
would
that's
make
how
that
they
too.
get away with not having to charge people full price for an old Wii U game. But
Well, we don't have a price yet for Australia. I think either they'll tweet that today on Friday, or they'll wait till Saturday tomorrow when they have an Australian event and announce it there. It'll be one of those two things. We're not going to wait weeks to find out the price.
well, everywhere except Australia's got their price, haven't they? Oh, I say
Pretty
everywhere,
much.
but I mean like
It was so weird. So, like, during this worldwide launch, he meant Kimishima. I can't say his. Pretend
it.
I said it right.
Say the guy
I
on
felt like I did it wrong. He mentioned Japan, US, Europe, Hong Kong, and other places.
there was a few others in there as well.
So, like, he didn't mention pricing for half those places. He mentioned a couple, like, random
No, he
places
mentioned
in the worldwide.
he mentioned pricing for only for Japan and
the
US.
States. Yeah.
And then he mentioned, I can't remember where he mentioned like all these other mythical places around the world that
But
were in Australia,
hasn't
but
this
it wasn't
always-
to do with like.
This,
No, he said it's releasing worldwide in Japan, US, Canada,
Oh yeah, right, yeah,
Hong Kong,
yeah.
and some other places. And then he
Yeah.
said, it's $2.99 in North America, which
Yeah.
I can't believe is correct because I'm doubting. I don't think the dollar's on parity in Canada for it to be $2.99. I think it's going to be more expensive. In
No,
Canada.
he never released the Canadian price.
But he said North America and then gave $2.99 for the
Oh, yeah,
price.
he
He
obviously
meant-
meant-
he
Yeah,
meant
he meant
the
he meant the
USA.
States clearly,
yeah.
and like a couple thousand yen
Aren't Canada
29,000.
don't
and 280 pounds in
Canada will probably have the same
4,000
price
yen.
as us, right?
his
Isn't it?
numbers,
Basically,
29,000.
Yeah, well, it's a couple thousand. It's almost 3,000. Whatever. Shut up.
It's a couple.
But haven't they done this with every console? Like with Wii U, I'm sure that we didn't get the Australian price until like a couple of days later from.
yeah, we got it at the Australian media
Yeah.
event. Same
So
for 3DS.
So it would have happened probably.
I think it will happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, what we do know is that this worldwide release, I can speak, comes in two different formats. You can get the console with kind of matte gray Joy-Con controllers, or you can get a neon red or neon blue Joy-Con
No.
set.
Neon red
Yeah.
and neon blue.
I'll be sticking to
It's
black,
not
grey,
either or.
whatever
Not
that
or,
is.
yeah, it
Because I
comes
need
with
it
one
to
each.
like blend in with the
But
rest of
before
my
we
house.
before we move off price, I've just checked. In Canada is $3.99,
That would be
which is
unsurprising.
Maybe
giving
we
me
will-
some hope that
maybe
we will
we
be
will be
$3.99.
I think we're going to be
I think we're
going to
be
well.
450.
well,
450 is like I reckon suicide.
Well, but-
you think 299's bad? I reckon
Yeah.
450 here would
I think
be
it's the same thing.
I agree.
balls to the
I just
crazy.
expect it.
The only reason I
I
think it
reckon.
might be 450 is because US to Australian is about 300 is about 400 plus GST brings it up to 440.
They might be prepared for this region to make a loss on it. If that's
They've
the
Yeah,
case.
said
that's
that
what I
they-
think.
But they've
Yeah.
said that they're not. They refuse to make a loss on anything.
No.
No, they
in
haven't.
In general, they're making a profit on every console sold, but for this region, they might say we can't.
What does
launch
in
at
general
450.
mean if you exclude an
overall,
entire
so-
continent?
Well, I mean, we're not a very big market. We're actually a very small, insignificant market. So
I think
might
they
be-
will look, if Nintendo Australia has any say, they'll be able to say, look, you can get a
Yeah.
PS4 Slim and Xbox One S.
Exactly.
They're both $3.99 with 2 games at JB and DB right now. And they're always like that. You always get the 2 games. They're never over 400. They actually go lower than that often. So you can't go over $3.99, surely.
No.
They would probably, and there's no way Tokyo, Japan, Nintendo Japan, sorry, would challenge that. I reckon. Like, there's no
Canada
way.
being 400 makes me think that we're going to be around 400.
We're pretty one-to-one.
I
Because
hope
we're
so.
pretty 1-to-1.
Yeah.
That means
with
I'm
everything.
pretty
like
sure
360, Xbox One.
US to Canadian isn't 200 to 400 or 300 to 400. I think it would be more like just over 400.
I think, like, I hope you're right, and I hope it is
419,
400. But on the same token, like, 400 is still way too much.
Agreed.
It's the
every
maximum
price-
I would be willing to pay. Once it goes over
It's-
400, then
Yeah,
I'm not.
but the
It's
maximum,
pushing me.
what the maximum is, they said it's it doesn't come with the Pro Controller, which I think, for me personally,
Yeah, but you can cobble together your own built one.
No, that looks.
No one's
awful.
ever doing that.
I don't think I'll use the unless I'm proven wrong, which I hope I am at the media event tomorrow.
Don't
I
you want to
think I can
feel
possibly-
ice falling into a cup in the palm of your hand?
That was so confusing. I
Yeah.
was just like, am I
So,
watching this?
so basically, the Joy-Con controller has haptic feedback, but they're calling it HD Rumble. It's like the most HD thing about the damn console,
Not
which only outputs in
surprised.
720. But whatever.
Wait, has that been confirmed?
Yeah, it upscales to 1080 on
Hang on,
your
does
TV,
it
but the
upscale?
tablet bit,
It's 720.
it outputs in 1080. Sorry,
Yeah, that's-
using on
But
your TV.
that's fine for a screen that size.
Yeah.
That's,
Look, did they confirm that during the stream, or is this
Nah,
after?
they sent Nintendo everywhere else but Australia sent out a fact sheet.
so
Right.
my LTV isn't that bad after all.
Well, there you
If
go.
it was the size of a Switch screen, yeah.
But so you didn't see this bit on the stream, like this
Well, I
guy
saw
was.
the ice thing.
Oh, okay, and like
I was writing something. I'm like, is he talking about water? Is this like a universal remote? I can control my fridge.
I
and
thought
get
it was going to
ice
be like,
water?
it has temperature gauge. It can
Yeah.
become hotter and colder in your hands. Like, that's useless. Classic Nintendo gimmick.
It's a
Wasn't
Wiimote.
even that.
It's a
Well, I told you
Wiimote
so.
that's also a Joy-Con now. That's exactly what they're
I
saying.
think you've
And it
pointed out
rumbles.
the biggest issue that I have with this is the fact that Nintendo have been trying to say we're stepping away from the Wii brand. Like after the catastrophe that was the Wii U, they're like, this is a new thing. We've hit the ground running. We're doing something different. And then right at the start of the thing, they introduce, the new Nintendo Switch has something from every old thing. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And then when they got to Wii and Wii U, I'm like, probably skip over some of that stuff. Like, I mean, the Wii sold really well, but
They can't get rid of all of it. Like, even 3DS has
but
gyro
it's
sensing.
not-
The
it's
Wii
not
U,
so
the
much that
Wii-
it's
I
to
don't
get
think the
rid of-
Wii U sold because of the technology or the hardware the way it was. It was a marketing error. They stuffed up with the
I
name.
think it's more than it's both, Tano. Like
I
they
disagree.
definitely, a lot of people think that it was an add-on for the Wii,
Yeah.
but it was also
that's
underpriced, had
primarily-
no games, and like,
Yeah.
overpriced, had no games, and like
Still
the same thing as what
overpriced.
we're looking at now. But what they've just they've said we like they've dropped the name Wii, but this looks like the third iteration. Like, this looks like the next step for a Nintendo Wii to me more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's come across as Wii W, or I don't know, something stupid.
But
But
that
you know what I
said,
mean? This is the next Wii.
Do you know what I think their challenge has been in attracting people like me? Because I grew up with Nintendo. I haven't been interested in Nintendo since the GameCube. The Wii didn't really drag me in. I wouldn't even know how to hold a Wii.
That's where I dropped off.
The Wii U, the Wii U just didn't. I never owned a Wii U. This console here, I feel that they're trying to get people like me back on board, and I'm more intrigued now than I ever was with the Wii or the Wii U.
Yeah.
The pricing's still an issue, so if it is a combination of like the Wii and the Wii U, at least they're kind of going in the right direction now, where it looks better, it's more appealing, it's more attractive. So
I think, you're right. What it is a finally a better execution of Wii hardware, basically, and with a little bit of Wii U stuff in there as well. Like, but I still think they're going to be behind at launch already with a higher price, and I don't know. It just
there's so many. This list that you're about to take off, like
Well,
let's go
launch
through 'em.
games.
High price, hardly any launch games.
yeah.
720 on the tablet, 1080 at a time when
That's fine.
I think that's fine
At a
for
time when
now.
Microsoft and Sony are pushing 4K to be like, 1080. Like,
Hang on,
okay.
I would say that Microsoft aren't doing it yet, and Sony really half-assed PS4 Pro. I think 4K is a few years away.
Yeah.
And who's to
But
say we won't
this
get...
is the same thing that happened with
But
the Wii,
who's
though.
to say we're not going to get... Microsoft have updated their console
I don't
after
feel
3
this
years.
has ever been an issue for Nintendo. I don't think it'll
But who's to
change.
say they don't do Switch 4K version in 3 years' time when more
Yeah.
people have 4K
And-
TVs? I don't think that's a concern yet.
I don't think it's possible. I don't think they'll do it.
No, they won't do
It's
it.
They won't.
They might do.
They might, but I don't think they have the.
They don't really have to because I
tech.
think most people are seeing this as a handheld that you can play on your TV.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is they've got the
That's it.
like the benefit and
It's
and,
Game Boy
and
Player.
all the bad things. Like every time something is said, like, well, it's only it's not 4K and it's this price and whatever. There's an argument that no, it's a handheld, but then the argument can also be made like, oh no, but it's also like marketed as a home console or whatever. whenever anyone says, what about this or what about that, someone pipes up and says one of the other two of those things, and it's just, you go around in circles. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I brought that up earlier today, pre-announcement, when everyone's talking about the price and people are guessing it's going to be the same as Wii U 430 or above. And I was the same as I am now, it's got to be $399 because it needs to have that 3 in front of it. Once it goes over 400, it looks ridiculous next to the PS4 and Xbox One, because you can't say, if they want this quote for their box, they can have it. You can't say it's newer than PS4 and Xbox One. It's more expensive than PS4 than Xbox One, but that's okay because it's newer and it's much less powerful. Like, you can't.
I don't know
market
if
it
they
like
want to
that.
put
And
that
you're
on their
saving
box.
money at
But
launch.
that's what
because
they're
there's
going to
nothing
sell you
buy.
if it's considerably more expensive.
You're saving
People
money at
will
launch
do
because there's
that.
no games to buy alongside it.
Can we
just-
hang on? I don't want to derail it. Can we go straight into the list of confirmed games? Both of the confirmed games
At
for
launch?
Yeah.
At launch, yeah.
I believe
There's 3 now.
Oh, is there 3?
There's 3. So
Well,
there's,
There's more.
that's 50% more than
There
there
will
was
be more.
before I started this conversation. So
if we
that's
can,
massive.
Shane, can we switch
Yeah, go on.
to confirmed games at launch? But today, confirmed games at launch today. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
So that's massive because there was a lot of people
This
like
is a
in
reveal.
Europe and Australia were worrying that we weren't going to get that.
Which was silly. Like, that was never going to
No, that was the
Well-
only major rumor that had serious traction that wasn't true.
Well, and it makes sense because if Europe has to
think.
localize a game, they're not localizing it for English people. They're doing
Right.
it English, German, other languages.
There's a lot-
I
there's
don't
a
know
lot
why I'm
more
drawing
to
a
this
blank,
as
but you know
well.
what I mean. Like they maybe that seemed plausible. They needed time to get all those different languages sorted out.
It doesn't seem plausible now that there's no other games. It had to be there.
There will be. I mean, that was part of rumors that it was going to be part of a strong launch,
Yeah.
and there'd be anything else
And tying
to
back
back it up.
Tying back to the console itself, like it's confirmed worldwide region
Region free.
unlocked.
Region free,
It's not
yeah.
region locked. There we go. So if they didn't release this game in Australia at launch, guaranteed they'd lose out on profits in Australia because we'd all go and buy it in a different region and
Revenue.
import it. Exactly.
And it doesn't make sense for it to be region locked anymore. 3DS
Yeah.
was in a DS was region free and they had piracy issues, but it wasn't related to being region free. But they just
But it
took it
encouraged
as a step.
Yep.
And then it didn't make sense because now when I'm in the US, I go to GameStop to look at funny games sometimes, and I think, oh, I actually buy this 3DS game. No, I can't. It doesn't make any sense to have a handheld that's region locked. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to have a console that's
I've
region
bought
locked.
plenty of stupid DS games because of that, but not
Yeah.
3DS. Like,
And a lot of people on Twitter today, when we were talking about this, were saying, "Oh, but you can never know what's going on with Nintendo. They don't really use logic," and that is true.
Yes.
But Nintendo,
Terrifyingly true.
Nintendo have in the past made big mistakes, and they have learned from them sometimes. And I think region locking,
But it's like one
3DS
step
is one
forward
that they're
and two
learning.
steps
just if
backwards.
they come out and say, please understand, doesn't mean they've learned
So
something.
we've
the-
got
They've
Zelda.
acknowledged it.
The other two games.
So Zelda 1, 2 Switch, is that the name?
Yeah. It's stupid.
And-
And the other one, Arms?
And Arms? And
No.
No, actually, that was spring or something.
Arms isn't. Arms is after.
Yeah.
I thought they... I thought
No,
it was
Arms is
So it's Splatoon-
Arms
it
is
must be
autumn
Splatoon.
2017.
Splatoon's not
No,
launch either.
after the presentation, must be Square Enix confirmed I Am Setsuna is coming out. So like a port from a different. It's already released on a number of different
Okay.
platforms, but it's coming out launch day for Switch.
Steve.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, but it counts.
Okay, so that there's
As a
FIFA.
game-
I feel betrayed.
Well,
FIFA
but it counts.
Yeah.
will be a
there will
launch
be
title.
FIFA. I didn't
FIFA
see
17.
But it's not
anything-
FIFA 17.
Yeah,
it's,
tell me
it's
about this.
EA
It's FIFA.
Sports FIFA.
Okay, so it's going to be like the handheld...
It'll be like Legacy Edition.
Hang on. Is it Legacy of 17 though? Because they're not
It'll be
going to.
17.
If it's 17, they're just not calling it 17 because it
it
seems
won't be
too
17. It won't be able to run.
old. Are you
No,
sure?
no, no, it'll
Like a Tegra processor? I don't think it can run.
I think it would surely be able.
But then why not call it FIFA 17?
Well, maybe because they want to sell more copies. And
Because
they'll be like-
whatever it is,
Because
it's
FIFA
a
17
's
handheld
been out
version.
Because
for
whatever it
6
is, they're not going to make it again next year because no one's going to buy it and they're going to be like, stuff this. That's what's going to
No,
happen.
So
EA
it'll
will
be FIFA,
keep
it. It
NBA
might be
2K,
that.
Skyrim, you'd think would be a launch title.
I feel like if Skyrim isn't.
I
I
might.
don't think. I see no.
I can't imagine because
I don't
There's
think
no
they
way
said.
it can't be. It would be
I don't think they
ridiculous.
said.
so
That's true.
Skyrim,
Skyrim's done definitive edition. What do they
It
need
would be
to?
ridiculous.
when
not to be a launch
Skyrim has
title.
been shown on everything else, it's very plainly shown as Skyrim Special Edition. When they did it today, it just said the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. So it might
But
be.
Oh, no, it'll
360.
be-
Well,
I
it
don't think.
might,
I don't
you
think
know?
Bethesda would do that.
There's
though.
no way it'll be the special edition. There's no way.
I just don't know why they wouldn't have-
That's like a
Although
6-year-old
maybe it's
Well,
the
that's-
360 version improved, but not as much as it's improved on PS4 and Xbox
That would
One.
be-
I think that's
I don't
guaranteed.
think so.
It's
I
a
don't think
Tegra
so.
mobile processor.
Maybe that's why they're not
it
calling it
can't
special
run-
edition.
It can't run 360 PS4 games. They have to dumb them down in some way. So maybe it makes more sense to remaster.
Well, we need to find out how much they need to dumb them down as well.
Yeah,
That's
we
what I'd
definitely
like
need to find out.
Because there was a few things in that presentation that didn't look great, like technically, like running wise.
Did you see the frame rate drops
in
Splatoon?
Xenoblade?
Well, and Splatoon 2.
Splatoon, yeah, but Xenoblade was like, it must have hit like 10 frames at one point. It looked very rough. And I mean, that's not going to exist for a long time. But
Yeah. Splatoon
still.
2 was really noticeable
Yeah.
to me. And they were like, but they were like circling the camera around characters. So I'm not sure if that was like, that wasn't gameplay. I think that was, or like it was gameplay maybe, but like pre-match.
They weren't playing these, like these weren't live demos. This was
In
just
game.
pre-recorded video, right?
Yeah, but why was
Surely
it? Why
you'd
was the
edit
video
that
going?
to avoid it? That's very odd.
It didn't look like the video was lagging. It looked like, you know what I mean? You saw it.
I
like,
do know what you mean.
Like it looked like you were playing a game and there was frame rate drops.
Yep. I
Um,
guess if that's the best you've got, and that's what you put in your international
But
presentation.
there's going to be more than. Well, let's face it.
Clearly, there's
no
not going
one-
to be 2.5.
There's gonna be Just
I don't count
Dance.
No,
Nine
there's going to be 19 Ubisoft
Oh, yeah, no, Just
games.
Dance
definitely.
2017 will
Yeah.
definitely be launched. It was
Yeah.
the first game confirmed for the Switch.
There's surely a Ubisoft will have
They
released
showed some
something
footage of
else.
Steep, I think,
Steep,
briefly.
Yeah.
probably.
So that'll be
Yeah,
I
launched.
thought for a second
NBA
there I saw
2K18.
F-Zero.
Yeah, I think it was that Neo racing game that's on
It
Wii
I
looked
was
U.
like,
I thought it was
that's
F-Zero.
F-Zero. I'm like, that is the slowest looking F-Zero I've ever
It's
seen.
the other
in my
one, whatever
life.
that's called. Neo F, not F-Zero, the game.
Project
Well, why
Sonic
would you show it?
2017.
Because it's coming to NX. Oh, what's it called?
That's
now?
been
Switch.
confirmed.
Sorry?
Project Sonic's been confirmed, but
Yeah.
I mean, they showed like 2 seconds of it. And
Well,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, was that new? No, that was from the old footage that they showed 6 months ago.
The stupidest thing I've ever seen in my freaking life. Not
Calm
really,
down.
but I'm exaggerating now.
Which
But
one?
like,
Big exaggeration.
so after the presentation again, for some reason, Nintendo just like threw up a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe trailer. They didn't talk about the
Wait.
game at all. They didn't confirm it
Wait,
until
Have they not
afterwards.
talked
They did
about
via
anything
YouTube.
about this?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe
oh, that's a thing. Is
with
it?
with new characters like Inkling from Splatoon, Racers, a couple, I think, new modes and stuff.
Battle
It's,
mode,
it's basically a port
Hang
of
on.
Mario Kart
full
8
price.
on Switch. Guess when it comes out?
April,
Not
May.
in March. Like
No,
late April.
I think this is because they want to have a new game
Yeah.
just after, so they can be
Which
like,
makes
here's our
sense.
launch
Oh, but it's
period,
so
and here's our new
dumb.
thing.
That should be bundled for free with
I
the,
agree.
with the console.
That's what I thought they would do. But initially, when I heard the rumor that Mario Kart 8 was going to be ported, I was like, that's ridiculous. Then I thought back to Xbox One and PS4 launch and how big like The Last of Us Remastered was. That was the PS4's biggest game for a little while, and that came out after launch as well.
still
That
is.
wasn't there at launch. It actually makes a lot of sense because essentially, if they were going to make a Mario Kart 9, we'd be waiting a long time for that. Mario Kart
I
hasn't.
didn't expect it to be a new. I expected
Mario
this to be a
Kart
port
hasn't
for
really
sure.
changed since Double Dash to Mario Kart DS. Once we got to DS, we had DS, Wii, Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart 8. They're all the same thing, basically. No weird gimmicks that
Yeah.
are that different.
Each one have had a new weird gimmick,
But
but
not
they haven't
big
been
enough.
massive.
Not a Double
Yeah.
Dash level of change.
but this just feels
No,
different.
I think it makes sense because previous Mario Kart games have been here's 16 new courses or maps and here's 16 old ones. So if they say here's where we're at
So
with
there's
Mario Kart
already-
8, so there was about 18
There was
DLC
there's
ones.
32 originally plus 16 DLC.
So
So there must be another
so up to
16
about
again.
15. So if there's 16 again, I'd much prefer to have this good. It's a very good Mario Kart game.
Yeah,
Oh no, it is.
With all this content, rather than go back to start with just 32 stages again.
Yeah. What was I trying to say? I guess I was
I
thinking.
think in terms of a remaster, presumably they'll do something to the tech to make it look better as well. That's probably actually what I want from a remaster. I'd prefer
honestly,
that than
considering
something else.
how many Wii U games I skipped because I just couldn't bring myself to play anything on the Wii U, I'm looking forward to full-priced, slightly touched-up ports of the 3 or so games that I gave a shit about on the Wii U that I didn't play. Like Mario Maker, you have to assume they're going to make Mario
They
Maker
will.
for this. It's been heavily
Hopefully
rumored.
it's a
Oh,
sequel.
The
though.
fact that they said did they ever show the touch screen on the?
They confirmed it.
They talked
They
about
confirmed
it.
it in
They
the
talked
intro
about
when
the
they said they took the
multi-touch
touch screen from whatever.
6.2-inch screen or something. I don't know. I made that up. It might not be that.
Anyway,
right.
the fact that it's got a touchscreen, like clearly, like everything will work from the Wii U version. It'll have to be undocked for you to draw on it and do that sort of stuff.
Well, you can probably
How
use
hard
your
would it be-
Joy-Cons to waggle them around
No,
and pick
Ben,
stuff.
don't shut up, Ben.
So the Wii U
Shut up.
gamepad was a great use of the touchscreen for Mario Maker, and then they've like refined
Off
it
of
down
Mario
to like
Maker,
3DS, and like I think 3DS Mario Maker was basically, let's see what we can do on this
In 240p,
completely
yeah.
different format, and then like because the Switch is kind of like the hybrid in every sense, like it's the perfect fit.
But what I'm saying is, like, they never showed anything about Mario Maker. With as little as
No.
they showed in that presentation, how hard is it to put 15 seconds of Mario Maker
You've
in
gotta-
there and be
you've
like,
gotta-
hey, this is coming eventually to... Say it's 2019 or whatever, we don't care.
Here's
Like,
what
Well,
you've
there was
forgotten,
there was
Shane.
no Smash.
They've got to host several more Nintendo Directs. They have to do something around E3. They need to have some announcements for later in the year.
Well,
Smash is
they're
coming.
launching their console in like 49 days, so
Yeah.
they also have to try and sell that thing.
That's
At the
true.
time of
but
recording,
they're-
it's 6
That's
p.m.
why they haven't done it, I think.
6 p.m. boys. We're having some drinks. We're talking about Switch at 1:30 in the morning today, or tomorrow morning, I should say. There's another live stream.
Yeah,
all
but-
about games.
But
They better have so many of those coming out on
Nintendo
launch.
Treehouse is going to focus on stuff that they've already shown. I don't
They won't
think
announce
they're going to
anything
go in
else.
depth on. They'll go in depth on like the crappy flick your hand around and look in my eyes game.
I think they'll probably
Did we
show
mention
Mario.
Ice yet?
They'll show
I
Mario.
think they will have some maybe Ubisoft
Mario-
games. I think
Here's-
they'll have a partner there who's like, here's someone from Ubisoft.
this will chew up.
going through
This will
these.
shut them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get many new
You don't
revelations.
think, you
like-
think
I think
we'll
they're
see
probably-
Odyssey with that Mario game?
Certainly not first party,
that's
no.
that's the biggest. That's one of the biggest disappointments, other than price.
Disappointments.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
I think it looks
What?
great.
Well, because of the
No.
release, or
yes.
because of how it looks?
Holiday
Okay.
2017.
Oh, okay, 'cause
Kano.
It looks so. We haven't had a proper kind of sandbox
That looks
Mario since
amazing.
Sunshine.
That's
It'll be great.
Unbelievable.
I'll be dead by
That
then.
has to stay there
I'll be
because that's
32. That's forever away.
that's the only game.
Yeah.
Okay, so they announced they didn't announce a whole bunch
because
of
they
games.
showed that off and then went, it's in a year.
They basically
Do you know
announced a game for every kind of quarter of 2017.
Do you know what Odyssey looked
That's
like?
it. One game per quarter.
Odyssey looked like, you know, when
Oh, that's
people
pretty
do
good for Nintendo.
the tech
Well,
demos in the Unreal Engine 4, and people are like, oh, here's what Zelda looks like in Unreal Engine 4, or here's what Sonic looks like. That's what that game looked. It actually
Yeah.
You know,
looked like that.
We just
And they've
haven't
made a
had
whole-
we just haven't had a Mario that style of Mario for so long.
No, I think it's good. I'm not dissing it. I'm saying it's amazing.
Super
because-
Mario Odyssey looked freaking epic.
It'll be great.
It's
was
an Odyssey in
confusing.
every sense of the world in terms of travel. Once they explained, once they
Yeah.
announced
Yeah.
Odyssey and explained that like there's like a thing that
You've
looks
got to
kind of
wait
like
a year
Egypt.
to get it. It's an
And a thing
Odyssey.
that
You've
looks
got to
like-
wait for an aeon.
when they first showed him in New York, I did think, oh, this is going to be Mario does the big city. It's a spin-off, and it's not a real game. It's some sort of
no
like
way.
Mario walks through New York
No way.
travel guide.
VR.
It's a really cool mix of like
exclusively for Apple Watch.
it's a cool mix of like real world and like Super Mario-esque fantasy. Not fantasy, you know.
That
what I mean?
just-
real
it was
world
very-
stuff is making me cringe. Not only because
Yeah.
it looked
No, no.
like it didn't look
It
like
re- it was weird.
like it looked
It
really
did look
good,
like Mario,
but it looked like a bit kind of like
It looked fan made to me.
The-
Not in a bad way.
I
looked,
liked it.
No, it looked really good, but it looked like something a fan would come up with and say, "What does Mario look like in New York?" Well, I'm a designer. I have Unreal Engine 4. I'm going to put Mario in.
or maybe it's
Yeah.
because Nintendo's using new tech which they haven't used before. They've got some
And they're
young.
going crazy.
It seems
What's that?
like I don't know. This is just a guess, but it seems like they've got some younger developers
Yeah.
they have.
making decisions.
Miyamoto
Of course, he
confirmed-
said it. He
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah, a couple days ago, he
Poss-
confirmed that the
okay.
Switch is basically like the brainchild
Passing
of
of
young
the-
developers.
What do you call it? The
So
back-
that's why.
Yeah.
What I think is really
That's why it
Sorry,
seems
the super
fan-made.
cringeworthy. I think we're thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
The
probably
cringeworthy
is.
part about this damn game is that Mario's hat is sentient.
no.
Oh, okay.
It's
Like,
him
What the hell?
next to humans in New York.
Yeah,
No,
it's like
sir.
Homer. It's like Homer.
What are you, Mario?
Yeah.
I know he's from the Mushroom Kingdom, and they made a point of saying like it's the real world, and he's come out of the Mushroom Kingdom, and he's 2 foot tall, and it's disgusting and weird. That's weird. I don't like it.
It's like Homer going through the portal into the.
Is that
Yes, but
I
a whole
vaguely,
game of
I
that.
vaguely recall maybe Sonic Adventure 2 or something where
Yeah.
there's human
No,
with Sonic.
it was Sonic 2006,
Where he makes out with.
No,
where
Sonic
he
Adventure as
kisses
well.
a real poison. It's no good. It's no good. Surely
Why-
Mario can learn from
why-
Sonic's biggest mistake of all time.
interspecies
It's real rapey.
relationships are not. Why, Shane? Why do you have to be like
Well,
that?
for
No,
one,
it was really
one of
weird.
them is clearly way more fictional than the other. It's blue and cartoony. Like, it's not even interspecies. It's dimensional. That thing is a totally different plane of existence.
This whole presentation was like the least Japanese Nintendo
Except for
presentation. Well, like there were moments, of course, but like there was like a light show and a DJ at the start, and there was this real feeling of like, hey guys, we're really trying. And then in this Super Mario Odyssey thing, at the end, there's this huge like cutscene of like Mario like just looking up at his hat, and his hat suddenly grows eyeballs, and he's like, what? And then they cut back to, I don't know who it wasn't Kimishima, and he's like, maybe you noticed in that, but Mario's hat had eyeballs. Mario's hat is going to be a key player in this game.
You know why?
And they talked about it for like 5
because
minutes.
if they do that, they spent the first half an hour was exclusive, other than like, here's the price, here's the date, was just going over stuff, and like it was like watching a breakdown trailer from the thing that happened 3 months ago.
Yeah.
That were just giving us the exact same information over and over, except for that part where they started talking about ice for a while, which, what the hell was going on there? But
That was a vitality sensor moment.
exactly. I
So,
don't know.
sorry, no, go ahead.
You.
Let's get the rest of the hardware stuff out of the way because we're well and truly in games. The thing that I think Ben would like to talk about the most probably disappointing thing I think about the entire console is that it has a whopping 32 gigabytes of internal memory.
Oh, I'm
see, I
very
haven't
annoyed
gotten
about
into
this.
that yet.
Day
32
one.
gig.
I don't think anyone's surprised by that. Like that's what
I'm
everyone
not,
thought
but
it was gonna
I-
have.
Yes, before we knew anything about this, once we knew when it was just rumored about this dock system that's a handheld hybrid, I thought, my Xbox One has 4 terabytes attached to it, and that's quickly becoming not enough.
Yeah, but it's full of real games. It's got games released on that console. There's only
Yes.
2 games.
if I wanted to, I could plug 2 terabytes into a Wii U. Obviously, don't need to, but could do.
I did. I don't know why I did.
So I thought there has to be a way. Oh, that's what the dock's for. Maybe you can plug a hard drive into the dock, and then you copy them over
Yeah.
to the handheld when you want to play them, and then you save them on a hard. There's nothing like that. There's just 32 gig, which will be probably like 22 gig of actual usable space, which is smaller than Skyrim Definitive, which it isn't, maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
And then you can use micro SD, I think.
Micro SD.
Oh, micro?
X,
Isn't that more expensive?
XD and
Yes.
S. There's 2 like micro SD, and then there's like 2
SDXHC,
variations of the X ones.
I
Yeah.
think it is. Yeah.
Basically micro SD and like the new fancy
that
ones.
basically
But the biggest
just means
cards,
better micro
well,
SD.
the biggest cards they make are 512 gig.
Well, and Nintendo.
So you can buy optional storage that gets you to a core PS4.
So we're going to
Xbox.
have to potentially buy multiple micro SD cards, and that's why that ridiculous
At
travel
least
case
it's
had
a
slots to
proprietary
keep them
thing.
in.
Well,
Moving them around, though, like,
alternatively,
you're going to lose
I mean,
that.
there-
There's gotta
the
be
reason-
another way.
The reason let's talk about why they've done this, because we know what they're like.
cartridges.
They want to keep production costs down, maximize profit. They've got the cartridges. They want you to buy the cartridges.
It's already too expensive as it is why.
Actually, Nintendo pushed buying digitally in the last days of the Wii
Which
U
makes it weird
and
as well.
3DS.
But like 30, the biggest thing I ever, what am I trying to say? When I had a Wii U, and I don't think I had a premium one. I think I just had a normal one.
Is it white
And
or
I
black?
had a download
Yeah,
code
what
for
color
Super
is it?
Smash Brothers. I'm like, I can't actually fit Super Smash Brothers on this.
Oh, there are games
console.
that don't fit on the white one.
And that's going to happen
Actually,
with Switch.
all of them.
It's totally going to happen with Switch.
So on the premium one where you had 25 gig of amazing space. So Mario Kart I had with the DLC is about 6 gig, I think. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is 11 gig. So you're already using half your space on one game. And then it must have been, there was something like, was it Xenoblade or something, where they recommended you
Yeah.
download packs to make it run better. So essentially, as you would install a game on PS4 or Xbox One, they said you should install these packs. Except that was a 10 gig total. So if you only had the smaller Wii U, which only had like 3 gig of usable space, you had to plug in a hard drive. And it's like, here's how you put a hard drive on your Wii U. And now they're not even letting you do hard drive. Like,
An
What?
iPhone has more storage space
it's a
than the
portable.
Nintendo Switch.
I think
my
it's,
iPhone
this is
has
all. This is
4
all,
times the amount, I think.
Well, like that's ridiculous.
This
is all very
and your
bad.
iPhone's a lot smaller
But-
than
and
the
it's
Switch.
2 years older.
They should
Your
put.
phone
They should.
costs $1,000 outright.
That's true.
It's not for the hard drive space. That's Apple pricing.
It's not, but it does bump the price up a
Yeah.
little bit.
I think we
By
should
about
all.
$50,
But
you know,
Nintendo's
so-
that to me, that dot point, and you might not agree on resolution and stuff, but all of these dot points
Storage
are
is a
making it
concern.
really hard to justify this damn
Definitely.
console to me.
But I think, storage is just all bad news as far as the eye can see. I think we should at least be thankful that we can use. Micro SD is a pain in the ass, but at least it's not a proprietary thing. It's not
It's
like,
not what Vita
like
did.
what Vita did, because that was just.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
They could still announce you can somehow plug in a hard drive. Like, surely that's doable somehow. Maybe they just haven't done it yet.
You would think so.
I mean, Xbox One didn't have that to
Yeah.
begin with. They added that
It's
in
a
later
wait.
via firmware
6 months.
that you
but
can
that was
add a hard
several
drive.
years ago.
Yeah, so well, Nintendo is about where
Where
Xbox
Nintendo
and
lives.
PlayStation were
Several
about
years
5
ago.
years ago.
Well, that's actually a really good segue, unless you want to talk about storage some more.
Please
mean
go.
Switch?
No, they need to fix
I
it.
don't want
and
to talk
that's-
about
that's it.
storage anymore.
Tano, do it. Ready? Let's switch to online multiplayer offerings. So
Yeah,
first
what
of
is
all,
this? I've missed this.
first of all, there's local multiplayer. You can connect up to 8 switches wirelessly to do offline stuff. But online stuff at launch will be free as like a trial, air quotes. And then
That's.
I can't remember if it's
I'm
fall.
worried.
I forget if it's fall for Australia or fall for America.
Doesn't matter.
Eventually, later, they're going to move to a paid subscription model.
Yeah,
They haven't
month or
talked
two.
about the amount of the subscription, but it's basically going to be similar to Xbox Live or PlayStation Network.
Actually,
Hang
So
on,
this
so
is
are we
coming
getting
out.
3 games a month free?
Well, sort of.
so
What do
this
you
is
actually mean?
So the online service will, for all regions aside from the US, Canada, and Mexico, so Japan, Europe, Australia, it'll be free. And then the paid service will come along in, I think it was fall. But
yeah.
this is by way of Vux, our friend Vux. He said that the paid online service will be available in the US, Canada, and Mexico only at launch. Now, what the hell does that mean?
So paid, it must be games with gold, PlayStation Plus
Ish.
games.
Okay, so
That must be what it is.
paying for the
But
subscription
Nintendo
gives you.
account- a Nintendo account
I think you've
required
got the
to
wrong
access
idea,
online
though.
services. So what does that mean? Like,
I think you've got- before we
get to
go
play
on,
online
because-
for free, but people in North America will have to pay. I think is the way it is.
That doesn't make sense.
You're assuming with the games with gold thing.
It gives you enhancements like lobbies and voice chat, but apparently the voice chat is a bit weird, and it might not be voice chat from the Switch. It might be a phone app
Yeah, I think it is a phone
that
app.
you use to do communication. Because
Yeah.
why do something properly online? Because it's Nintendo. This is like the new version of friend
let's add
codes.
another.
Here's the other thing though. There's something about like it says subscribers will get to download and play NES or Super
Yeah.
NES
And
play
one.
Super NES or Super game brackets with newly added online play for
Yeah.
free for a month. So I think that means, just imagine like you've got your games with gold or PlayStation Plus or whatever. If you get that stuff that month, you can download it for free and you can play it for free. But at the end of that month, it's
It
not yours
stops.
anymore.
Yeah.
Is that
Well,
wording is
so
how
the,
it sounds.
the weird thing is it might just be like
Oh, so
Japanese
oh
wording,
my
and it's
God.
like each month you get a new game, or
Hopefully.
quite literally it might be at the end
Well, my
of the month
Japanese is
you
really
are cut
shaky,
off from.
so I was reading that in English.
Well, no, but like it
But
might
yeah.
be like a lost in translation thing. So
No,
I
it,
really hope so.
It might be like each month you get a new game, or it
But
might be you have access to a
Considering how
game.
many times Nintendo expects us
It's
to
friend
pay
codes.
for virtual console games again and again and again and again, I would assume that when they do eventually give us one for free, we're not allowed to keep it because that, in keeping with the virtual console kind of thing.
Well, you're not allowed to keep
The-
your PlayStation Plus games if you cancel, but you get to
Yeah.
play the ones you've had from previous months. Surely that's
You get to download them.
minimum,
and keep them
that's
and
what
So
they're
stop
my
doing.
paying.
comments regarding it being available in North America got nothing to do with that.
Hmm.
I'm talking about. They said that the online service to play games online.
Yeah.
They said that it will be free until fall 2017. At
Yeah.
which point you've got to start paying for it.
Yeah.
However, on the US Nintendo website,
Huh.
it says the Nintendo account required to access online services. The paid online
Oh,
service.
Nintendo
will be,
account, because they never said anything
But I
about
mean,
that.
The
Nintendo
paid
account's
online
free.
service will be available in the US, Canada, and Mexico only at launch. So that means one of two things: either one, other regions won't be able to play online, which won't happen, or two, people in North America are going to have to pay to go online, whereas everyone else is going to have to wait.
You know what
till
that
fall.
means? It means that they're going to have to trial it for free, and they're going to work out all the kinks, and then they'll release it worldwide, and that's when everyone will have to pay. So we won't get a trial. We'll just have to subscribe to it straight, like when we have access to it, I reckon. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
How
think
many
that's
games
what's
are going to
happening.
But
utilize
it's paid.
online
It's
anyway?
paid in North America.
Splatoon is a
from
big one.
launch.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, but that's
no,
not
but
right,
he said at launch
Yeah.
it's trial. Can you
On
see
the
this?
on
At
the
launch,
website,
there's no
on the
online
web-
games.
There's no games that require it for ages anyway.
this-
so who
this
cares?
is-
FIFA.
This weird discussion
That's
right
not
now.
launching.
It is. It will be.
It will be a launch.
This discussion right now is like, to me, summarizes this
Yeah,
Switch reveal.
it does.
It's like they gave you
They haven't explained it
they
properly.
gave you some answers, but they made more questions, way more questions than they resolved.
They didn't show anything about, like when you just said Nintendo ID, they didn't show anything about profiles, UI, anything to do with the system. Like they didn't show any of that sort of stuff at all. Is that in their spec sheet or any of that sort of
Not
stuff? 'Cause I
really.
haven't
There's
seen
like
that.
there's like you know like the very first screen on a Wii U, like basically
home screen.
like a white back, not even like a white background
they showed
with
it
like a
vaguely.
couple tiles, like
Yeah.
maybe like
Well,
your
they showed
users.
that in the thing,
looked
but
a bit
it
sleek,
looked
but-
like it was like a placeholder because
Well, that's what I mean, and people are like, "Oh, the UI's been revealed." Like, I don't think that's the UI. Like, that's not really the UI you should be expecting.
well, regardless, I
it
think
would
what
be,
people
you'd
want to
think.
know is
oh, but like on that particular
Do we
screen
have,
until you
like-
actually get into a menu.
what we want to know is, are the Nintendo network IDs, are they going to become like a proper
you mean
universal...
My Nintendo.
My Nintendo it is, or well, from the...
I think they already announced.
Have we
that it
finally
is.
got like a proper online account, like
I
a
think-
universal
I
account?
think that's what that was the point of My Nintendo or
Yeah, well, I
Nintendo
mean,
account or
I
whatever it's
assumed
called.
all of that as well, Ben, but
Correct.
you'd never know,
we can only,
right?
We can only
That's
assume.
why these are the kind of really important things that I hope that they would cover. Like, hey guys, you know that thing that we should have been doing for 10 years? We've done it. But
Yeah.
no, it's launching here, there's no games, it's too much. Good day.
Well, this is what we're going to have to attempt to ask Nintendo Australia tomorrow and have them
Good luck,
say,
sir.
that's an interesting
They're
point.
going to bat that back to you like a little ping
Yeah.
pong ball at the end of their... Actually, you know the little things that go on the end of the Joy-Cons and stuff? I think that makes it look a little bit better.
It makes it look like you can actually use
Usable.
those fake
Even
LNR
though,
buttons.
Even though
Those ones that are hidden away?
Stupid
You know what?
joysticks are like in the middle and like, I don't know.
Everyone used half a controller dearly. It looks like
It's
it
never
will,
going anywhere.
It looks like it will work for Mario Kart because there's enough buttons for it, and that will be okay for your little brother.
It'll work for anything if you're a crab and you have like ridiculous fingers and you don't mind.
I think it would be, when you, I don't know, maybe you're fancy and have multiple Pro controllers, but when you have people around to play Mario Kart and it's like, right, I've got the Pro controller.
No, heaps of
You
people
have
get screwed.
gamepad and you get Wii Remote on its side.
And if you're really lucky, you get Wii Remote on its side in a plastic wheel housing.
No, that's bad.
So
They've,
people
they've
are-
already
wants that.
thlike announced Joy-Con.
I
wheel
think
housing,
Joy-Con
was like-
would be
by the way,
better
I had
than
like
Wii
a-
Remote on its
I
side.
am one with the Force system. I had a mantra during that Mario, what's it called? Mario going over there or whatever for Switch. For
Mario's
Nintendo Wii U 2.
Amazing Odyssey.
Odyssey. The whole
2000.
time I was just going, please don't have. Oh my god! Please don't have motion controls. Please don't have motion controls.
Yeah,
Please
but
don't have.
now has the hat thing is definitely
Because
motion
They
controls.
started the presentation by saying, "Look how much like a Wii this is. How much? You remember all that
Guys,
stuff nobody cares about
We
anymore."
have breaking news.
Oh.
Do you have a price?
Suggested retail price $469.95.
What do you mean suggested retail price?
No, that's the price.
Wow.
$470
How? Honestly,
from
Wow.
Nintendo Australia.
how have you confirmed this?
It was in my email. I just got an email just then.
From you
Oh
guys?
boy, oh boy, wowee! In the
I'm
words
like,
of Brian
so,
Taylor.
Are you telling me that I got a Nintendo Australia email?
I don't have one yet. Is it really 469? Because I'm like,
$469.
I'm literally. Oh no, I have a fucking. Sorry, it's freaking Shin Megami Tensei. How come I don't have it yet?
Sometimes.
Anyway, that's probably not great for the podcast, but there you go. This just in.
Is
Like,
it really 469?
this
Yeah.
just in, we're being screwed.
I'm trusting you on this, Tono. I'm
I
gonna
actually
write
think
469 on
I'm
my
not going to
placeholder
get
things.
one. I'm going to get Zelda on Wii U. What else am I going to be playing for the first year?
Like 100%, you're not trolling me.
100%.
I promise. I'm putting
I'll
this
show
up
you.
on the
what's
website
trust,
right now.
gents?
All right.
Hand him the phone. There's probably two other details in the email.
I'm about 2 seconds away from
We
hitting
should probably
publish.
continue talking, the rest of us, because this is a audio.
$469.95. Ay, ay, ay.
So recommended retail price is what EB will. EB will probably sell it for $468 because they like to knock off $1.95,
Good guy, EB.
and JB will do the same thing. So that's what we're getting it for.
I tell you what, if it doesn't come with its entire launch lineup included,
If it
which
doesn't
is
come
a
with-
game and a free and one that should be free. This is really bad for them. I think, considering you'll have to buy like an SD card.
if
You want to use it as a home console, you probably want to buy a Pro. If you want to buy any games, you can't. You've already spent
haven't
your
tweeted
entire
that yet.
money.
I'm going to tweet that now.
The stupid thing about Nintendo PR emails is they take like 5 hours to get to some people and like no time to get to the others. Annoying.
Yeah, nobody cares about it.
And this is what happens when we're doing a semi-live podcasty thing. Sorry, everyone. I'm working right now.
It's not even semi-live. Anyway, what else, Ben?
$469.95 is atrocious. Let's just talk about that.
That is way more than I thought it would be. That means they're actually
You said about
I thought it
30
had to be
minutes ago
$3.99.
that $3.99 was as high as it could go.
for me to buy one.
Oh,
Um,
so $2.99 was as much as they could possibly sell it for in the US.
yeah,
And you said
for me to buy one.
$4.49 was as much as they could possibly sell it for here.
No, I said $2.99 is the most I can get away with in America. In Australia, for me personally, if it goes into the 400s, I'm not going to buy one, and I think I probably won't. For $4.70, add a game, you're up to $5.50.
I don't want to
Add a Pro controller, add an SD card.
Well,
That's
you can do
that's
all
way
that.
too much money.
You can buy a Scorpio and a half by the time you've got everything together.
I'd like to thank Nintendo Australia for doing this at such a random time as well.
At
I don't know.
6:16 p.m.
I don't understand why you chaps are so surprised. Like, oh my god, out of nowhere. Well, what else? Is there anything else that we really need to talk about? About Nintendo's last console after that announcement? Jesus Christ.
Last handheld.
The Joy-Con has on the right an amiibo reader, because of course amiibos, and on the left it has a little square that's like its version of the share button. It'll do screenshots at
That's
launch,
cool.
and it'll do videos after launch.
They never showed anything about, what was their Me social network thing? What's that called again?
Miitomo? No, not Miitomo. Like
The
the
one
Mi
on
Plaza? What do you mean?
the Wii U.
Oh, that
It's
thing.
like Reddit, but for...
What's the stupid RSS thing that they do?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh man,
See, like, I assume that's what this would be for as well. Like, you'd be able to post it to
it's called
Miiverse.
What the hell is it called?
It's called Miiverse.
Miiverse. That's exactly what it's called. Well, I hope they ditch that because it's awful. Mii's are
I
like
think if it's... Well, they're definitely going to be in it. Because there's Mii's in Mario Kart 8.
Do you know that?
Confirmed.
I'm actually lost for
I'm-
words at this
I'm
470.
I'm actually
That's
gobsmacked.
unbelievable.
I actually did a little chat.
Whoa,
on
I was
the
Not
Phoenix
so
Bazaar.
pessimistic am I now at 450.
I actually seriously
No, it'll
thought-
have to be
I did
400.
a
actually
chat on
seriously
the
thought-
Phoenix Bazaar Facebook page, and I ran a poll.
I
and
thought it might be
had
like 370, not
150 people
470.
voted on the poll. 25 people voted on the Facebook page. No one said, not one person said or voted for above $400. So no
Was
one
there an option?
out of 170 people,
Was there an option of 450?
there was an option to went up in $50 increments. So either between $350 and $399, $400, $449.
Did you go above 450?
Yes, I went to 450 to 450 to
500, I
$499.
believe, is the next one.
Yeah. So and no
And
one,
people must
no
have gone
one
like,
voted for
why
that.
is it gone that high? It can't be that
So I've
much.
got 275, 350. Everyone agreed that it would be $399. A lot of people were in agreement.
I always thought that those people were kidding themselves, and I thought it was going to be 450. Even before, I don't know.
So are we just gonna because we're putting this out straight away, so you can't add this in yourself, Shane. Should we just hum some sort of funeral procession right now? I'm calling it. There's no one's gonna pay
I
$470.
don't know what I'm humming.
Zelda looks
470.
great, but I already have a Wii U.
I can play Zelda on
Man.
Wii U.
I don't want to have to do that.
I really want to play it on Switch. I don't
when
think
s-
I can
when-
muster up $470 dues.
when the
Well, I
Switch-
need $550 to get Zelda
When
as
it
well.
actually launches
$550.
holiday this year with Mario, that's when it really comes out, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And when the price goes down to $465, like
Is this going to be another ambassador program? We're really sorry.
Here's
we
the
screwed
thing,
up
so,
3DS
yes.
This is a nightmare.
situation.
So just to recap that briefly for a listener who might not remember, 3DS launched in I think February 2011 for $350, which is pretty ridiculous for a handheld at the time at least.
Oh,
And then in June or July, Nintendo was, please understand, we made a mistake and they cut it to $250. They cut $100 off of a $350 thing, and then if you'd paid that extra $100, which might I add, I think this is about $100 too much, so they might have to do exactly the same thing. You got a bunch of poorly emulated games, which, to be fair, most of them were never released to buy on 3DS.
there were none of them were ever supposed to be released.
So if we're going to look at that as a historical evidence, potentially you should wait 3 to 6 months, and Nintendo might slash $100 off the price because they did it for their last handheld, which they
I
massively
don't
overpriced.
understand how they haven't
Learned from that?
Yeah, but not just in this, many ways. Really, it's just a broad comment that I can
I
make
think
at
being
this point.
massively overpriced is their biggest mistake. They did it for 3DS and they rectified it. They did it for Wii U and they just ignored it, and Wii U died. And they've done it again. I don't get how
Gosh darn it!
I don't
They've
get how they're
done
not
it again.
realizing that you can't charge $470 for a massively technically inferior handheld that can be plugged into your TV when you can get a PS4 or Xbox One with a lot more games.
Do you remember
that
the
perform
Super
much
Game
better.
Boy?
I'm delighting right now at Twitter because friend of the show, Vuk, is trying to defend this price, saying that the PSVR came out at $550 in Australia and people bought that. But someone just countered him
Well, I
saying,
didn't buy that,
yeah,
'cause it's
but the
ridiculous."
PSVR had like far more launch games, which is accurate. Like Nintendo
Even
has
if most
two
of them aren't
games.
real games, they're all just showing off tech,
Well,
which is
like-
basically what this is as well, by the looks of it. Zelda's not that good. Oh, I mean, Zelda is that good, but not that good.
But I mean,
We're almost
the
paying-
fact
that's
that you can
ridiculous.
still play it on the Wii U, which I could probably get a big old thick cloth and dust off. Maybe I can get that dust off. I can play it on that. And I have a Pro controller for some reason on Wii U, which I've used twice. That could be used.
Well, I did not think that the Switch presentation went well. I didn't think they showed much off. And now that we've got the price, I think it is a disaster.
I thought it went okay until this price come in and ruined everything.
I was
it's
actually a
it's
very solid
$100
launch.
too much.
Day one, putting pre-order down. I will wait now until price
till
drops.
holiday 2017
There's
at least.
no way I'm paying $470 with Scorpio coming out, and like, there's no way. And that's such a disappointment because I was very keen.
Well, yeah.
Just when you thought you were out.
I was
They
well.
keep
That's a
bringing
good
it back.
point because
They
if you
quote that they keep kicking me out. It's the other way around.
Just
Just when I thought they've dragged me back.
if you
in,
only
they've
have
kicked me back out.
finite money to spend on console games, next year you've got a new handheld basically that can be plugged into your TV. You've got the recently released, and I don't know if you can even buy one at the moment, PSVR. They're in such demand. So if you want to go VR for console, there's that. Plus the PS4 Pro. And then there's going to be Scorpio. Plus, let's not forget the massive expense of your 4K TV if you're considering either of those two things. So I'm kind of thinking I would prefer to save for a 4K TV and Scorpio or PS4 Pro. And once that's done, in 6 years' time, get Switch 3 version or whatever they've got since they've released a new one. Switch
it'll
XL
be the Wii
Mini.
4 by then, because this is Wii 3.
we were totally wrong. I thought that Nintendo, they would have come to their senses.
I thought
and
it was.
said,
I was certain it would be.
We can't launch at this point. This is a disaster.
Given how much this looks like a natural progression of a Wii as well, I'm worried that even if it does take off, it's going to be the same as a Wii, just like inundated with shovelware.
Shitty shovelware.
Yeah, and it's just going to be like they showed off gimmicky stuff way too much at the start of that press conference. I was getting really, really worried, but I should have been more worried about the price. I think that's about it.
Okay.
Does anyone else
so
want to
is
say anything?
anyone going to buy it at launch?
I would have at $3.99 definitely.
The
Now
answer is no,
I'm.
Ben.
Well,
I don't
there
think
is the chance that I can be sucked into these things. Oh, it's just so much though.
It's not even a question for me. I genuinely, there's no way I could afford that now. Like,
So,
no.
what are we estimating
At least I get my $50 back when I cancel my pre-order.
Zelda game price point? $100?
Yep.
No, it'll be $80. That's how much Nintendo Wii U games have always been.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I've never bought any.
So let's average. We'll say $550 maybe on launch day because you're not gonna buy 1-2 Switch.
There's no way.
You're not gonna do it.
There's no way that I'm gonna play this thing. Like as soon as I saw the announcement and I looked at the controllers and the Joy-Cons and stuff, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna play like that. I want to use the Pro controller. So
Well, and that's the
and
other
that's
thing.
$80 US as well.
If you
So
wanna have a
what
whole
is that?
bunch-
$250 Australian apparently.
I don't know if it will be $80 US. I think that was the price holder, wasn't it?
No, that was
Was that
that
actual
was,
price?
I think they announced that
No,
$79.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
if you want to have a whole bunch of friends over to
Is
play,
that an Elite controller? No.
No, it's a Pro controller.
the downside, like I hate that I have 4 complete sets of Wii motes and nunchucks. But the good thing about Wii U was that if people came over,
You
kind of
might
like
be
you were
able to
alluding
use
to,
that stuff,
if like
but I
8
don't
people wanted to play Mario Kart or however many else, like I had enough controllers to pass around. If I buy a Switch and I want to have people come over and play Mario Kart or something,
You've got to buy 2 Pro
I'm
controllers.
going to have to go and buy a whole bunch of extra controllers as well. So like this $470
you've got to
price
buy 2,
is going to skyrocket to
and
like
then
$600-700
the friends you don't like, you give them half of the Joy-Con. Here you
What
get
the hell
half
kind of
controller.
snooty Beverly Hills area do you live in where you can join up 8 Nintendo Switches?
And
At
you
that
haven't
price.
factored in SD card. How much do you think? Maybe do a quick
Yeah,
Google if
SD
you have
card
time.
you
How
probably
much is
need
a
before.
512 micro SD card?
512?
The biggest one you can get.
No.
Let's just find out what that is.
It's way too much. It'll be like $200.
they're not
Let's find out
cheap.
what the biggest one is.
Nobody buys
A
that.
128 gig is $70. A 200 gig is $140.
Yeah.
So let's go with 200 gig. You got to add an extra $140 for some storage. You could add that a bit later
Where
because
is
there's not
this?
enough games to need the storage just yet.
Yeah, correct?
The 512s. Oh my god. So this is Gizmodo, and this is from 2014.
There's not many of them
This
out
is
there.
this is
like-
2014.
Yeah.
So the prices have dropped.
Granted, but like a 512 memory card, an micro SD, $1,200.
Okay, that's not. They're less than that now, definitely. But
No, I don't know if it's...
No,
like,
it wouldn't be
by
that
much.
much.
It would be a lot though. You're gonna spend.
You're still looking at quite a few hundred.
No, for that money, you can get yourself a high-end PC and a friend to carry it around in front of you.
You could probably buy PlayStation VR for the
Scorpio.
for the expense of
And still go to a strip
storage.
club.
This is Nintendo. What are
Yeah.
you doing? What are you doing? We were almost there. We were almost on board. We were just within reach
Yeah.
of saving you from utter demise down a cliff
Well,
or something.
Yeah.
let's hopefully tomorrow when we get hands-on...
It might
there'll be
wow us.
something I
what's
can't-
happened here is Nintendo had an excellent idea until they announced all the details. Once we had to stop
No,
speculating.
Nintendo have taken the Wii and the Wii U, crammed them
No,
together.
and they've thrown the 3DS in. Cram
Well,
that in.
Oh,
It's
well,
portable.
there you go.
That's
2 parts meh and 1 part eventually.
without the 3D, which was the worst part of 3DS.
True. Have they said anything about Virtual Console outside of this? 'Cause
Nothing.
They never said a thing.
Nothing. Not a single thing.
I expect
I'm
maybe that will
expecting
be
GameCube
tomorrow.
Virtual Console titles, which I'll probably have to rent for a crazy amount of money, and then send it back to them with an apology letter from myself. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anything else? We're running out of steam.
You have to find
Well,
other.
Tano?
this is like
I reckon we switch off.